You're listening to the Online Business Blueprint brought to you by PlatformLaunchers.com. I'm John Stange, and it's great to have you with us as always, because here we talk about building and growing and monetizing your online platform. We talk about taking your passion, turning it into a platform so that you can earn a paycheck from your online business and all the different things that you're doing and creating. And one of the things that I have often said, and this is what we're going to talk about this week here on the show, is one of the things I've often said, though, is the fact that sometimes we get a little too creative with what we're creating online. And as a result, sometimes that can stymie the growth of our business. And I have to tell you, I actually love boring business ideas because they have shown themselves to be extremely effective when it comes to building an online platform, when it comes to building an online business that can replace your traditional income. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to, and I have 4 case studies that I'm going to give you of what I would call gloriously boring business ideas that really work well in the online space. And so I can't wait to share those with you in just a few moments. I do want to make mention of the fact that if you head over to platformlaunchers.com, you can find all the things that we have in store to really give a kickstart to your online business, your online platform. I have several courses over there. I have our 21-day platform development planning guide that you could download for free. We also have our members club where you could join us as a member and get on our live training calls and meet together with me and some of the other members of our members club and build, grow, and monetize your online platform together with us. So check it out, platformlaunchers.com. I'll give another plug for the website at the end of our episode here. But in the meantime, we're talking about boring business ideas. And so just for fun, do me a favor as we start off this week's podcast, do me a favor and give yourself a little permission to daydream with me for just a few minutes. We're going to start off this week's episode with some daydreaming. And what I want you to do is I want you to let your mind drift toward thinking about what life would be like if you were leading your ideal online business and that ideal online business was functioning in an optimal way. So just daydream about that for just a moment. You're leading your business, it's functioning optimally. What will your life look like if that's the case? So, what does that mean as far as like what time would you start your day? Would your day start a little bit earlier? Would it start a little bit later? How would you structure your morning routine? Are there things that you would include? Maybe some more exercise, maybe some more time for reading, maybe making a breakfast instead of eating something quickly? How much time would you spend working on your business from a marketing standpoint? What would your referral network look like? How frequently would you create new content if your business included a message-based online platform? So just think about that for a moment. Daydream about some of those things as you think about creating an online business, running your online business, and it operating optimally. All right, now that that's fresh in your mind, now that that's in the back of your head, let me share a couple additional things because it's fun to think about those things, but it's even more fun when those concepts and when those ideas become a part of your day-to-day reality. And I wonder if you're listening right now, if you're watching us on YouTube, wherever you're accessing today's show, how close are you to these concepts becoming part of your reality? Are they distant? Are they close? Are you partway there? Do you feel like you're not there at all, that it's just in the dream stage? I have to tell you, when I interact with various online entrepreneurs, and that's something that I do constantly, I hear all kinds of ideas about dream businesses. I hear all kinds of ideas about platform concepts and things that they hope to do at future stages. And it's obviously very fun to discuss these things. I love talking about these things. But most often, the people enjoying the most success on a consistent basis, they actually share a commonality with one another. And that's this: their businesses aren't revolutionary. In fact, I would say that their businesses quite frequently might seem a little bit boring, or as you heard me say just a few moments ago, their businesses might seem gloriously boring. That's kind of how I like to refer to it, because if you just say it's boring, people wonder, well, what is that an insult? Is that meant as an insult? I don't mean it as an insult at all. It's actually a phrase of admiration, and I'm going to explain why. And even why I use this phrase gloriously boring. What do I mean by that? If I called your business gloriously boring, would you be hurt by that? Would you be offended? I promise you, if I called it gloriously boring, I personally, the way I use that phrase means something very positive. So what do I mean by that? Or what qualifies as a gloriously boring online business? Well, let me share a few principles, and then I'm going to follow that with some concrete examples, some case studies to help you out and encourage you along the way. A gloriously boring online business, that's something you aspire to create. A gloriously boring online business, what it does is it solves a common and obvious problem. And it probably, as it's solving that problem, it probably has a name that is more obvious than flashy. So it's a gloriously boring business that's not trying to be a rock star for attention. It's functioning like a servant, not like a rock star. It's functioning like a servant, specifically a servant who aims to make your life a little bit better, a servant who aims to make your life a little bit easier. Gloriously boring online businesses tend to succeed, and there's a reason for that. And I think a big part of the reason that they tend to succeed is because they solve real world problems instead of getting mired in like the random interests and hobby horses of the business founder. I've got random interests. I've got hobby horses that I spend probably a little too much of my time and attention on. You probably do as well. And I've seen people, including myself, attempt to create businesses over the course of my lifetime, over the course of your lifetime, that maybe focus a little on some of those random interests and some of those hobby horses instead of solving real world problems. Well, at this season of life, I've learned better. I've learned not to do that. Now is the season to solve some real world problems and create a gloriously boring business that serves other people and makes their life a little bit better. Not trying to be a rock star, trying to be a helpful servant. But let me illustrate. I told you I had 4 examples. I'm going to give you 4 really good examples that help illustrate the benefit of a gloriously boring business. And the first is something called Coach Hub. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Coach Hub before. A lot of people use it, but if you're not familiar with it, you could probably figure out the name or what it means based on the name. I think Coach Hub has a very obvious name. You could tell right away, I think, if you hear the name Coach Hub, all one word, you could tell right away that it's trying to be basically a one-stop shop for all things coaching related. If I gave you that name and I told you that's what it is, you would say, yeah, it's very obvious. The name gives away what it's about. Coach Hub. Their goal is basically to connect coaches with clients and clients with coaches by creating a network of business coaches. But let me tell you a little bit more about them in their own words. This is according to their website. They say this. They say, according to them, they say our global pool of over 3,500 certified business coaches in 90 countries offer coaching sessions in over 80 languages to more than 1,000 enterprise clients across 6 continents and are supported by our international team of over 400 dedicated Coach Hubbers. So I think that's kind of funny that they've given the users of Coach Hub or the proprietors of Coach Hub a name, Coach Hubbers. And they say we provide personalized one-on-one coaching at scale with our AI-enabled technology platform that offers a simple and elegant user experience and a seamless coaching journey. Now, that's very fancy talk, but the truth is their business is gloriously boring. They are Coach Hub. They coach clients. They coach business clients. They give themselves a name that's very obvious. I consider it gloriously boring, and it's obviously working for them because they're connecting with thousands of people on a monthly basis to serve them in the coaching industry. And it's working for them. They've built a profitable business doing this. So that's number one. That's case study number 1 as far as a gloriously boring business. But let me give you another one, similar in structure, and then I'm going to give you 2 others that are different in structure. There's another gloriously boring business that I've recently come across called Design Crowd. Now, even before I explain that, what do you think Design Crowd is all about? You could kind of tell just from the name, but designcrowd.com is a website that connects graphic designers with clients who are looking for things like logos or branding or personalized design elements that basically go beyond the cookie cutter approach of using stock images and common text elements and things like that. And so Design Crowd serves people by being a bit creative like this and connecting these graphic designers with different people. And according to their website, in their own words, they say this: buying from Design Crowd gives you a custom design and unique identity created by a professional designer. Unlike buying a template, you will receive unique artwork based on your specific needs and your specific preferences. And I look at that and I think, all right, that doesn't sound creative at all, but it does sound helpful. Design Crowd. You have a crowd of graphic designers ready to serve you. Again, it's another gloriously boring business with a very obvious name, solving a common problem. And they're doing a great job doing it. And as a result, um, they've been able to help a lot of people, and people really appreciate their services. But I said that I was going to give you a couple other examples as well, and these are a little different because these are more individual based, not company based. But the next one I'm going to give you is someone who goes by the name Detail Geek. Now, I think somewhere along the way, I believe I've made reference to this individual. I was trying to remember when, but it's been a long time, so it's about time for me to reference him again. But one of my favorite YouTube channels to follow is called Detail Geek. I don't know what you think that channel is about, but basically, I could tell you I've watched that channel for many years, and I honestly don't know the proper name of the host because he rarely, if ever, states it. I think he stated it somewhere along the way, but I must have missed it. But basically, this is what Detail Geek happens to be. The channel consists of a man who lives somewhere in Saskatchewan, Canada, who used to just basically detail cars out of his home garage. And he called himself the Detail Geek. And that was the name of his business as well, Detail Geek. But his business started to take off. It grew so large, and he started filming what he was doing on YouTube and releasing those videos for people to watch along. That YouTube following became so massive that he decided, you know what, I need to expand this. And it was earning him a good chunk of change. And so he's like, hey, I can expand this. So he decided to move the business out of his home garage and recently built a large detailing garage on a piece of farmland. The building that he built is kind of massive, and it's set up for filming and doing all sorts of things, and really detailing cars in a very professional way. And then he also set up a website, and his website is detailgeekautocare.com. Detailgeekautocare.com. So, in addition to detailing cars and recording videos of the process, he started to venture into creating his own line of car care products. And again, he does that on his website. He's got that available on his website, and he ships all over the place. So he's expanded his business. But basically, I look at his business and I think, you know what? He built it one step at a time, one concept at a time, and I'm impressed by it. I think it's impressive. But I also have to admit, it's a little boring. And sometimes when I tell people that I will, from time to time, watch videos of this guy detailing cars and that I find it interesting to watch and even relaxing, to be honest with you, they laugh at it because it just seems like that would be so boring. Who wants to see somebody shampoo a rug? Who wants to see somebody, like fix a car that's filthy and vacuum it out? I don't know why I enjoy it, but I enjoy seeing those cars get detailed and seeing the finished product. It's pretty neat. But basically, what do you have this guy doing? He's solving the common everyday problem that everybody has, especially if you have kids or pets, of having a dirty car. If you have all sorts of human beings or animal beings going in and out of your car, you're going to have dirt that they track in there, or food that they get in there, or snout prints on your windows, or whatever it may be. You're going to have that basic, common, everyday problem of having a dirty car. And in his case, Detail Geek, what he does is he either cleans the car for you, or he films the correct way to do so and shows you how to get stains out of your carpet and get your windows nice and clean. I learned, by the way, this is bonus information, that if you use a waffle weave towel to clean your windows, that you will get your windows much cleaner than if you use other kinds of towels. So guess what? Watching that channel influenced me to buy waffle weave towels to clean my car windows. But if you don't, want to pay him to do that, if you don't want to watch him do that, no problem. He will also sell you the products to help you do that yourself. Again, gloriously boring business. I just think he's doing a great job with it. It's got a very obvious name, DetailGeekAutoCare.com, or Detail Geek if you go check him out on YouTube. By the way, a little warning, if you go check it out on YouTube, you're going to end up watching those videos, and some of them, he's got millions of views on them because people just apparently appreciate seeing a filthy car become clean. Great, great YouTube channel, one of the best. Here's one more. A fourth one, she's got an online presence and a physical business that goes along with it as well, but it's Whitney's Cookies. I don't know if you're already familiar with Whitney's Cookies, but if you had to guess what Whitney's Cookies is all about, do you think you could figure it out from the gloriously boring name Whitney's Cookies, right? Well, several months ago, in fact, I had the privilege to interview Whitney Miller. She was doing something with one of the people from Duck Dynasty, if you recall that show, and Sadie Robertson specifically. She was partnering with her, and so I'm friends with their agent, and so I contacted their agent and said I'd love to have them on the show. And he said, "Well, Sadie's not available, but Whitney is." And I said, "I'd love to have her on the show. It seems like she's doing a great thing." And she's the founder of Whitney's Cookies, and she's the brains behind whitneyscookies.co. So her website is whitneyscookies.co. Had a lovely conversation with her just a few months ago, I should say. And years ago, Whitney won Fox's Master Chef with Gordon Ramsay. So that certainly built some prominence for her. She was actually 22 years old when that happened. And since that time, she's continued to build on her success. And this is, in her own words, on the website. She says, "What began with Whitney's love of sweets and passion for baking led to Whitney launching her own cookie company." And the site says, "Our founder and head chef, Whitney Miller, launched Whitney's Cookies in 2019 in Franklin, Tennessee. Her cookies are made with real ingredients. They are crafted with love and attention to detail, resulting in the most flavorful cookies you've ever tasted." Then it says, "During the 13 years of being featured at events and cooking on stages and in kitchens across the world, Whitney's most requested dessert item was her brownie cookie. And its popularity sparked the idea for Whitney to create her own cookie company so that everyone could enjoy her cookies. And with that, she launched Whitney's Cookies." So she launched the website, she launched the in-person business, she got it all going. I have to tell you, cookies are a delicious treat, but they are not uncommon. My first physical food was a cookie. First thing I ever ate in this world was a chocolate chip cookie, honest truth. First solid food I ate. They're not uncommon, though. But it is a common desire for the human palate to crave sweet desserts. And a discerning eater also learns to appreciate higher quality recipes and higher quality ingredients. And having recognized that, what did Whitney do? She succeeded in creating another gloriously boring business with a very obvious name that meets an obvious need, with the goal to exceed common expectations for a cookie. whitneyscookies.co. So, I just gave you 4 examples, 4 different kinds of business. And I'm just saying, all right, at this point, what about you? Boring businesses work. And if you've been hitting your head against the wall over and over, trying to come up with some sort of gimmick and some sort of clever name and some sort of just, I don't know, just random thing that you think has to be so clever that no one even knows what you're talking about, maybe you should consider being boring instead. Being boring instead. In other words, how about this? Since the hamburger continues to be the most popular food item, and since jeans tend to be the most popular form of clothing, and since vanilla seems to be the most popular flavor of ice cream, you might want to take a cue from what they're revealing. I'm saying go boring. If you want to go boring with me, you could do so at platformlaunchers.com. I hope you choose to do so. But speaking of boring, I want to finish up with a little something here, and I hope she doesn't mind me calling what she's doing gloriously boring. But Jennifer Harshman, you're here with me right now. Jennifer, I wonder, are you okay with me calling you boring if I mean it in a complimentary way?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just literally got away with calling Jennifer boring. She's far from it, but gloriously boring. Jennifer, tell us about the gloriously boring way that you help people.
Okay, so Editor's School is
Boring.
it's
It's
gloriously
boring.
boring.
Editor's school. That is such an obvious name. What is this, a
It is.
school for editors?
It is. It is. So we have online group and independent study courses that will teach people everything they need to know to become a skilled confidence freelance book editor. It's not just the technical side of editing, but it's also the business side. And it's great for anyone who would like to build a gloriously boring business working at home or from anywhere, really, and control their schedule while making a real difference editing written content. So, whether you're just starting out or leveling up, Editor School will give you the skills and support that you need to succeed. You can learn to edit, learn to earn, and do it all on your terms.
Love it. So where do they need to go?
They need to go to editorschool.com and use the contact form there to let me know that they're interested.
Excellent. Jennifer Harshman, you're always doing some fun stuff. We've had you on as a guest before, but you've got a gloriously boring business that's a lovely example worth highlighting. And if you're looking at Jennifer's background there, some of the books that she has on that shelf behind her head are some of the books that she has gloriously edited for some of those well-known authors. And Jennifer's edited several books for me as well. So check out editorschool.com. You won't regret it. But that's it for us this week. Thanks again for tuning in. It's always great to be able to spend this time together with you. And we look forward to catching up with you again right here next week, as always. In the meantime, have a great week, and we'll see you really soon. Take care.